continue talking about substitution. The video will cover F4. In F4, we will substitute values into multi-step formulae. As you can see, these two formulae look very similar. The only difference is where the square is. In the first one, the square only belongs to A. The second one, the whole bracket is squared. If we substitute the value of A and B into the formula for C, this is what we get. C equals to 3 times in bracket A squared plus B over 2. After substitution, we get 3 times 5 squared plus 8 over 2. We have to do the indices within the bracket first. 5 squared is 25, so we will get 3 bracket 25 plus 8 over 2. The next thing to do is the division. Remember that fractions and division are the same thing, so 8 over 2 is 4. So we can rewrite this as 3 bracket 25 plus 4. Now we need to do what's in the bracket, which is 29. So we end up with 3 multiplied by 29, which is 87. And that is the value for C. Moving on to the next one, it will be very similar, except for the part that the square is now on the whole bracket. So let's substitute A and B. D equals to 3 times, in brackets, A plus B over 2, all of it squared. After substitution, we get 3 times 5 plus 8 over 2, all of it squared. First, we need to deal with what's in the bracket. There's a division which takes precedence over the addition. So we will do 3 times 5 plus 8 over 2 is 4. And this is still squared. The next thing to do is what's in the bracket. 5 plus 4 is 9, so we get 3 times 9 squared. This square is now only on the 9, because squaring and indices in general take precedence over multiplication. So we need to do 9 squared, which is 81. We get 3 times 81, which is 243. And this is our final answer. The value of D is 243. Moving on to some more complicated examples, where you will have to substitute the value of A and B at multiple times in your formula. So for example, C equals to B minus A plus AB minus B to the power A. You can see that both A and B occur multiple times in your formula, but that's not an issue at all. Let's substitute. C equals to 5, take away 3, plus 5 times 3, because AB is multiplication, take away 5 to the power 3, because B to the power A means 5 to the power 3. Let's look at what is the highest precedence in our order of operations. It is indices. So we can continue and we get 5 minus 3 plus 5 times 3 minus 125, because 5 to the power 3 is 125. After we continue, the next one is 5 times 3, which is 15. So we get 5, take away 3, plus 15, take away 125. We now only have addition and subtraction. And remember, order of operations tells us that these are equal precedent. So we will work from left to right. If we start from the left, we get 5 take away 3, which is 2, and we just copy everything else. Moving on to the next one, 2 plus 15 is 17, take away 125. And lastly, 17 take away 125 is negative 108. And this is our final answer. The value for C is negative 108. Moving on to the last example. Here, similarly to the previous one, we will substitute both a and b multiple times into our expression. The formula for d is b minus a plus a times bracket b minus b to the power a. The difference between this and the previous example is the bracket. So here's how we can substitute the values. First, d equals to 5 minus 3 plus 3 in bracket 5 minus 5 to the power 3. I just substituted the value for a and b. The next step to do is start working through our order operations. The highest precedence will be the bracket, and within the bracket it is indices, 5 to the power 3. So we do 5 minus 3 plus 3 in bracket 5, take away 125. As we have seen from the previous example, 5 cubed is 125. We then continue with this bracket, write down everything else, 5 take away 3 plus 3, and in bracket, 5 take away 125 is a negative 120. Continuing from here, there's a hidden multiplication sign between the 3 and the negative 120, so we have to do that one next. We copy everything else, 5 take away 3, positive 3 times negative 120 will be negative 360. And at this point we only have addition and subtraction, so we can work left to right. This will equal to 2 take away 360, which is negative 358. And this is my final answer. The value for d is negative 358.